I never thought a simple question about cake could absolutely shatter my heart. After my brother passed, the house felt too quiet, so I decided to become a foster parent. That's when I met Leo. He was 10 years old, lived out of a garbage bag his whole life, and had eyes that looked like they'd seen a war. He was settling in, doing okay, until I brought up next Tuesday. I told him, "Hey buddy, your birthday's coming up, we should plan something." I expected him to get excited, maybe ask for a video game or a bike. Instead, he went completely pale. He looked down at his sneakers and whispered, "Do I have to pack my stuff tonight, or can I wait until the morning?" I froze. I asked him what he meant. He told me that every year on his birthday, that was the day the social workers moved him to a new home. He thought birthdays were just deadlines. He didn't know they were for celebrating. He thought they were for leaving. I had to walk into the other room just to choke back a sob, but I pulled it together. On Tuesday morning, he woke up fully dressed, backpack by the door, shaking. I gently took the bag off his shoulders, led him to the kitchen, and showed him a stack of pancakes with 10 candles burning bright. I told him, "You aren't going anywhere, Leo. This is your home." He didn't blow out the candles at first. He just stared at them, and then he looked at me and asked, "Does this mean I get to stay?" When I hugged him and felt him finally let go of that breath he'd been holding for 10 years, I knew I was never letting him go. My phone buzzed at midnight. A name I hadn't seen in years lit up the screen. It just said, "You still awake?" I almost ignored it, because old memories can hurt, and some people bring back feelings you're not ready to feel. But something in my chest said, "Answer." So I did. They told me they were sitting alone, in the dark, crying, shaking, thinking about giving up on everything. We talked for hours, about life, about fear, about all the things we never said. The sky was already turning light when we finally stopped. The next morning, they messaged me, "If you hadn't answered, I don't know where I'd be." Now I never ignore late-night messages, because sometimes a single reply can keep someone here. My phone kept buzzing while I was driving, late for work, already stressed. It was my dad, again. I almost sent it to voicemail, because we always talk later, right? But something felt off, so I answered. His voice was quiet, shaky. "Hey kid, I just wanted to hear you." That was it. No big speech, no drama, just that. We talked for a minute, about nothing, about everything. Then he said goodbye. 2 days later, he was in the hospital, and suddenly, that small call meant everything. Now every time my phone rings, I pick it up, even if I'm busy, even if I'm tired, because some calls aren't interruptions. They're memories being made, and some calls never come back. Every Sunday, my mom asks, "Are you really okay?" And every Sunday, I smile and say, "Yeah, I'm fine," but I wasn't. I was drowning in stress, debt, and fear, pretending everything was under control. Some nights I couldn't sleep, just staring at the ceiling, replaying every mistake. I didn't want to worry her, so I stayed quiet, carrying it alone. One night, I couldn't anymore. I called her, voice shaking, words falling apart, and told her everything. I expected anger or disappointment, but instead, she just listened, breathing soft on the line. Then she said, "I'm glad you didn't carry it alone anymore." And in that moment, all that weight on my chest finally started to lift. I used to look in the mirror and only see everything that was wrong. Too slow, too broke, not good enough. No matter how hard I tried, every mistake felt huge. Every failure felt like proof I wasn't worth much. One day, I caught my reflection, tired, worn out, and I said out loud, "You're trying, and that matters." It felt weird, almost stupid, like lying to myself, but something shifted, just a little. So I kept saying it, day after day, even when I didn't believe it. Now when life gets heavy, I don't attack myself. I support myself, and that small change ended up changing everything. When I lost my job, my money, and almost my confidence, it felt like the ground disappeared under my feet. Every morning I woke up, staring at the ceiling, wondering how I messed everything up. But one day, I looked in the mirror and whispered, "I'm not done." No big speech, no magic, just that. So I kept showing up, even when it hurt, even when it felt pointless, even when nobody noticed. Some days I failed, some days I wanted to quit, but I kept moving, one small step at a time. Slowly, things started to change. Not overnight, not like a movie, but day by day, little by little. Now when life tries to knock me down, I remember that promise, and I stand back up every single time.
I was standing in line, tired, frustrated, ready to snap. Then the cashier said, "Rough day?" I nodded. She smiled and said, "You're still doing great." That was it. No big speech, no drama, just kindness. But it hit me harder than anything, because sometimes one small moment can stop a bad day from becoming a bad life.
The bus stop was empty, cold wind cutting through my hoodie, my phone at 1%, and my life honestly felt about the same. I'd just been laid off again, rent overdue, confidence shattered, standing there wondering how I'd explain this one to my mom. Then this old man sat beside me, shaky hands, worn boots, gentle smile. He looked over and said, "Long night, huh?" I nodded. He told me he once lost everything. House, job, family, all of it in a single year. Said he slept in his car, ate dollar fries, cried in parking lots, a lot. Then he paused, looked me straight in the eyes and whispered, but I kept going even when it felt pointless. The bus lights appeared in the distance. Before getting on, he added, "Life doesn't change all at once. It changes when you refuse to quit." That night, nothing magically magically fixed itself, but something inside me did, and sometimes that's where real change begins.
I was half asleep when my phone buzzed. 3 missed calls, same number. I sighed, annoyed, ready to mute it. Then I listened to the voicemail. It was my older brother, voice low, breaking, saying, "Hey, I don't really know who else to call." No jokes, no confidence, just silence at the end. I called back immediately. He didn't say much, just that life felt heavy, like he was failing at everything. We talked until sunrise about dumb memories, late night food runs, stuff that didn't matter, but somehow did. Weeks later, he told me that call kept me here. Now I answer every call, because sometimes one voice is the difference. Okay, picture this. Back in middle school, my cousin Brady and we totally bonded over one thing: pizza. Every Friday, we'd split a pie, and I always claimed the last slice like some kind of hero. I'd grin, toss my backpack over my shoulder, say, "It's cool, you go ahead, I'm still full." And Brady, he'd eat it with that goofy smile, never once complaining. Well, fast forward to senior year, and I'm at his wedding, and right as the DJ hits our song, Brady clinks the mic and with a huge grin goes, "Shout out to my lifelong best friend, the guy who always let me have the last slice." There's laughter, clinking glasses, and then he leans in and whispers, "Except that one time in 8th grade, yeah, turns out I snitched on him for taking extra pepperoni when we were supposed to share it." Long pause. Guess some memories come back a lot sooner than you think.
I still remember the heat rising in my chest, like that moment when your little brother knocks over your Lego tower right before you finish it, but way deeper. It was my summer job at the diner, and this one morning, the new manager, Liz, came in 30 minutes late, blamed me for a spilled coffee, even though I wasn't even there yet, I swear. I stood there, apron on, heart thumping, everyone staring, and for a second, I just saw red. I wanted to shout, slam dishes, storm out, but instead, I took a breath, long, slow, and said, "Look, I get it's frustrating, but that wasn't my mess." Liz blinked, real quiet, and apologized. I walked home sweaty, hands trembling, but also kind of proud, because I stood up for myself without blowing up. And honestly, that's the moment I learned what real anger is, and how to handle it without losing me.